Hi, decoders. This week we're talking about love. There are different ways that we love one another, and sometimes we can be a little bit toxic with our loving without even knowing it. So let's begin. Hi, I'm Kiran Trace. Welcome to Humans Decoded, a story of hobbits, fairies, elves, dwarfs, gnomes, and humans. If you get lost at any point, there is a deep dive on all the different avatars in episode 1. It includes notes. Thank you for joining us in a fun little chat about the vast potential of our human makeup. Hi, Leela. Hi, Cami.
Hi. Hi, my sweet friends. Happy to be here together again.
So
Same.
nice. Hope you decoders feel that juicy energy, aliveness that happens when we all get together here in the podcast sphere.
Okay, so this week we're talking about different types of love. And I remember when Kiran first mentioned this, she said there was a kind of love that's very clingy and attached, a kind of you owe me this and why didn't you show up for me this way kind of a love, versus something that's much more free and cool and less attached. And I totally forgot about it until recently. And then it's just fun to kind of revisit it and scan over my life and have like a stock check. Where is love like a little bit clingy, a little bit attachy in my life? Yeah, because I don't want any of it. So it'd be nice to have a cleanup. And it feels like there's so many different ways to do relationship. And it can be a place of real freedom, celebration, and evolution. So, it's always nice to take us with you, decoders, revisiting what makes these types of relationships up.
And I think it's always a great reminder to just see the difference so clearly between this clingy, grabby version of relationship or love and the free one, like the spacious one. Because this freer version of it, the clear version of it, it's ultimately so much more love. And even though it looks nothing like this Hollywood movie romance we're constantly fed, but in truth, it's infinitely more loving. And, we'll get into the how and why in this episode for sure. But I just think we can all hear this reminder, even just hear it for the first time, the truth of there's a freer version of love. And I can't wait for this discussion, for this conversation. So, Kiran, what is it that we're talking about here?
In essence, we're talking about when we love with attachment or we love with non-attachment. But that language is kind of a vague spiritual pointer, which, of course, we all loathe that stuff. I loathe it. Because we can be a lot more precise and a lot more clear. Like, I have this sweet sort of teaching that I do, and I call it red love, blue love. And it actually comes from this beautiful friend of mine, Ilsa. She was an awakened woman who I met when I very first woke up. She was in the Adyashanti Sangha. She'd been awake for about 40 years, and she was breathtaking and stunning. And she said to me, I lived the bulk of my life in a closet. Like nobody knew I was awake. Although it was so obvious to me because the radiance of her energy, the radiance and just timelessness of her. But, her story was kind of a common one. She just woke up when she was 17 years old, quite out of the blue. And wow. She just sort of very quietly carried on with her life. She would say to me, back in those days, there was, unless you could fly to India and sit with Osho or something there, or Ramana, this wasn't a thing. So she just quietly went on with her life. She got married. She had children. No one around her knew that she was like living life without a story of me at all. And so one day she said to me, I don't think I've been a very good mother to my children. And she was telling me the story of loving them. And she used this word. She said, I love them kind of in a blue way, like cool. She says, I'd take them to daycare and I'd drop them off and I see all these other parents and they're sort of crying and hugging and I had none of that. Like I didn't know where that would come from. And she said she just felt that way throughout their whole lives. And she said, I feel like I was missing something because I didn't love them that way. And so that became the basis of this beautiful sort of training and teaching that I do called Red Love, Blue Love, that really talks about this non-attachment and very specifically means I'm not carrying around this other being, my child, my dog, my partner, and therefore defining myself in relationship to them. Like I am this girlfriend or I am so-and-so's mom. That kind of love where you're carrying them around is an attached love. That's red love. And that's the love that all of us have been taught to mimic, like as that's real love. That's it. And that's the love that the media portrays everywhere. And it really puts it on a pedestal and says, isn't this amazing? But when we're moving from attached love, there's always this agenda because I'm carrying you around. I have all these ways that I need you to be with me. I have these role. I'm this role. I am your mother. And we have sacrificed X, Y, and Z, and you must therefore be this. Like that, or I am your girlfriend. And so I have these expectations of how you're supposed to be in the day. Why aren't you thinking about me? Why aren't you texting me? When you text me, we should be, and we should, la, 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 la. Sound familiar? Like the inner monologue we all do in our relationships. So because of that red attached agenda love, we're not fully available to the other being or the other being's authenticity and truth. Even if it's a plant, an animal, a human, we're not really available and truly present with them because of this carrying them around, this artificial storyline and role. So attachment creates an agenda. And in order to have blue love, to have non-attached love, I mean, it's very funny, it sounds really wrong, but you don't carry them at all. In fact, they don't even exist if you're not with them. Right? But that doesn't have any romance at all. I mean, that's not the reason you had a child. It's my role as a parent to carry my child with me at all times.
What do you mean? Just forget about them.
What do you mean they don't exist?
I can't think about my crush all day long.
But what's actually true, because you don't have an agenda, because you're not carrying them, you're actually fully available. And if you're fully available, then love rushes in all those nooks and crannies, and it allows for this truly an enormous amount of love. And it's not the kind of love you can put in your pocket and then identify yourself as, like, I am a mother, I am a boyfriend, I am a cat mom, like.
Don't you know who I am? I, as a cat mother?
like it's busy in here because I got to be thinking about my cats and the plants and my kids and my partner. Like, don't get in the way. It's literally my job to worry about anything I love by definition and role.
Yeah. And I feel like most of us probably grew up with some version of that love. So we were probably on the receiving end, or, just as likely the giving end of that kind of slightly neurotic, very attachy, needy, grabby love. And it's probably one of the places where it can become the hottest, like the grippiest, like the role of parent or the role of child. And I think blue love is more akin to how source or the infinite field of love and compassion actually is like here right now, loving you entirely. And so it's really beautiful to have that imprint or template in yourself, because a lot of us might have never really seen it before. So when you're sitting in a deep meditation and you meet this presence, which is just love, like it just drenches you in love. And it wants all of you, like Kiran said, every nook and cranny. You might be like, but aren't there any conditions? You can't love all of me entirely. Like, isn't there something I should be doing better?
So aren't I supposed to be earning love?
Exactly. But I wasn't even good today.
It's so weird how this red love is very exclusive. Like it has the conditions, like Cami is just illustrating so beautifully. And the blue love is very inclusive. Like blue love doesn't, in a way, it doesn't give a shit how you are, who you are, even just you are, period. And I think in my life, I've made quite the big sort of transformation from super fucking hot red love to more blue love, like these days. And it, the exclusive hot red love, it always seemed like this holy grail that I wanted it so bad. I wanted it so bad. And it's like, this is where everything is heading towards, like the ultimate life goal is to have this red love. And I think I've been chasing that dream ever since I was little, because I don't know, I didn't grow up with this strong sense of being loved for whatever reason. And so I wanted to have the prince, like, and eventually I did meet him. Like I met my partner that I was with for 12 years, and we were such a Hollywood kind of couple, and people were so jealous of us. Like, you should have seen us.
You guys were perfect.
We were perfect. Like,
so young, so beautiful, so in love.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah. But it was so much red love. It was so exclusive, and my pain body gremlins wanted it to be even more exclusive. Like they were lusting after the story of like you and me against the world. That's what I wanted. That's what we live. And he wasn't very much into that one, but it was totally my thing. But then the end of the relationship was his suicide, and that pushed me into working with Kiran. And through working with her and slowly unraveling this relationship, this intense entanglement, I saw that, oh fuck, we've chosen each other many lifetimes in this really exclusive, really hot red love type of thing. And ultimately that was creating a bond which is not good. It's not healthy. It's not sane at all. Like creating a really strong connection between our beings, what we would call a twin soul or a twin flame. And let me tell you, you don't want that. It's not great. It sounds maybe amazing, and many spiritual books or offerings like sell it as the ultimate goal, but it just means that there's no actual freedom because you're entangled with this other being. Like you share sort of, I don't know, one soul or something. And you're full of this agreement with the other being, full of the red love. And yeah, it's been a choice for many lifetimes. Like, yeah, each time we met again, it's like, okay, I'm going to choose you again this lifetime. And as opposed to just choosing, truth or choosing God, choosing this divine love, that which is much more freedom than, hang out with this guy for a couple of 1,000 years.
I think, though, that it's such a great hallmark of what people think of as red love is like when you're with this romantic partner and you're like, let's be together our whole lives, and when we die, I'm going to find you in heaven and we'll be together again. Like this story of like, I will keep picking you. I will want you. Like, let's, like, beyond this life, like always, we will always be together. And it just sounds so romantic, but it is such a strangulation of freedom.
Yes. Absolutely.
Just like you're saying, you're choosing this guy instead of God.
Yeah.
I will be with you.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. But, you know, then maybe after 2 years after he died and unraveling the bond with Kiran, I started to date again. And, you know, what did I do? Same thing. I went straight for the red love. I was like, oh yeah, you and me. Okay, let's do it. But, you know, it's such bullshit. It's so much suffering and it's so unnecessary. And, oh God, like, come on. And then, you know, eventually I was seeing that there's a choice of like, okay, what do you really want? Do you want to do the same thing over and over and over again? Or do you maybe just want to choose God? Do you just want to be with God? And then it was obvious, like, yeah, I do want freedom. I do choose God. I do choose God. And, you know, that came just via sitting a lot in this radiance and loving energy, or just sitting a lot in God, experiencing the love, the actual love that really is unconditional, that really encompasses everything and has no limits whatsoever. Like, yeah, and then it's like, my love for you is not special, or your love for me isn't special. It's not exclusive at all. In fact, you know, I love you the same as I love a pebble, a plant. There's no difference. And it sounds maybe a bit abstract or a bit like far out there, but, you know, now this allows for romantic relationships, which maybe it's wrong to call them romantic because there's not much romance there. It's just like, I love you so, so much. You're wonderful. I adore you, but I don't care. Like, I don't care at all. It's hard to describe, but yeah, it's like, often you don't exist. You're not here. I forget. I also forget about my cats when I'm not with them. And then, yeah, this living a relationship isn't, I'm choosing you over God, or I'm making my life choices around this other. But it's still like, life choices happen depending on what's delicious, depending on what's actually true, because I'm not looking for this other person or for this partner, boyfriend, whatever, to give me anything, even a friend. Like, there's nothing you have to give me because it's already here. That radiance, the radiance of source love is already penetrating every cell. It's all that is. Like, every cell is made of that love. And so there's nothing to get over there. And it's just nice. Like the sort of, what is it? The external manifestation of that love in the form of another holding you, let's say, or like watching TV with your best friends. It's nice, it's sweet, it's lovely, but in a way, it's like, either way, with it or without it, kind of same, it's fine.
Right, it's zero agenda. There's just no agenda. And it just amplifies the love so much.
Yeah.
Or it just allows for this really huge radiant love.
Mm-hmm.
Not squeezed into this, like, what I feel for you.
Right.
Yeah, I find that so inspiring, and I often find myself calling Leela up because maybe I've got myself into a relationship. Oopsies. So I'm like, I'm a little bit ensnared again. Like, what's true? So yeah, it's really beautiful to have an example of how light it can feel inside of romance or any relationship. So Leela's a nice go-to for that for me.
You know, like we have all these like sayings. I'm thinking about like your ride or die, which is now just a way to say this is my bestie, whether it's a, you know, your life partner or friend or whatever. But even the term like I ride with you or I die, you know, like it's so exclusive. It's like exclusive, you know, at the root, you know, we so rise that red love on such a pedestal. And it's such a pathetically small amount of love compared to what each one of us is capable of and capable of being bathed in. It's just, it's a wonderful experience to be with someone in blue love. It's so much love. That's the stark difference. When you're attached to something, it really, really, really decreases the connection. And when we're non-attached, the connection gets wide open. And just as you're saying, that radiance, all that love that's here for us just spills into that. And it's huge. And again, whether that's your dog, it could be your ficus, it's your child, it's your husband. Like just to be mesmerized in the infinite fields of true compassionate love. And then to be able to literally just walk away because a new moment arrived. You know, like the love walks with you, not the other being. Like, because it never came from another being. It never came from there. We think it does because the other being might have sparked that aliveness in you. But the love was always coming from you. It's inbuilt. And so it never leaves you. It never started there when your child was born and this huge love. You know, it's like when your child was born, it sparked the huge love that was already here. And you can actually walk and drop the child and walk on. I don't mean literally drop a child, but I mean like let go of carrying them emotionally, and the love walks with you, and it's wonderful. And it's wonderful to move your entire world just filled with love, and that cannot happen in red love because just what you're saying, the exclusion. Like only when I see my child's face do I have the bliss and joy. Then my child leaves and I'm empty. Ironically, it means you never really saw your child. You were never being with that child. There was just a fraction of connection there versus what was capable. And it's wonderful to be lit up in bliss and love and see your child, then your child leaves, and notice the bliss never went anywhere. And then your partner arrives and it's the same thing, and then your partner leaves, and then there's the dog, and the dog, you know, goes out or whatever. It can be the report that you're writing for work that's just bliss and love pouring in. It's the pot of soup on the stove. It's the cup of tea that you're making, and it's not something you're holding. You're not holding the love. It's the lack of holding. It's so bizarre. It's so counterintuitive, but it's the lack of holding that fills in. And it's so much more of a fulfilling experience. And it's a much better way of harnessing the gift of your child, your dog, your ficus, to see that the love is actually everywhere, you know?
Just as a testimony of what you're saying here, Kiran, like when I was with that partner who really did, like there was a lot of love. It was a fucked up version of love, but so much love. But it never really arrived. Like I never felt like it's enough coming. There was always like sort of a vigilance of I need more. Like this is not enough because I wasn't available for the moment, for what was there. I was just filled like to the brim with all the stories, and that didn't allow for the love that was there or is there to touch the places that were desperate to be touched.
That's such a beautiful insight. you know, when you're clutching so hard, you're like suffocating the love that's actually there. I had this experience recently where I went to the cinema with a boy I was dating, and I was just watching the movie, but then the moment came in, and sometimes the moment is so loud, it's almost like louder than form, so it just dissolves form. And so I was sitting watching this movie with tears running down my eyes because everything was so alive. And I call it light soup when it's just so alive it starts sparkling and dissolving. And so I was like so moved by just the moment. And my friend was like, "Oh, is it the movie? Are you really moved by the movie?" And I was like, "Sure." And it's a lot like, you know, Kiran and Leela are saying, it was just the moment, which could include a plant, the person beside me, the movie. It doesn't have to locate in one place. And then that's your only source of love, and you have to keep going back to that source. You know, it's also possible that you're in relationship with everything and loving everything so hard, like everything's just alive, and the kind of presence of it is just so inclusive and loving. So yeah, it's a real sweet bonus to have someone, you know, lovely watching this movie beside me, but it doesn't have to be bound to this one being.
And this opens up the possibility for many more healthy interactions. So I have this dear friend who I love very, very much. And sometimes he makes these totally insane choices. He like intentionally veers to hurt himself. And sometimes I'll notice myself getting attached to helping him find clarity. And that's an homage to the love, right? I don't want him to hurl himself off in this crazy direction of insanity. So in homage to this love, I get a little attached to how I'm being with him. And then I see that that attachment in myself is ridiculous. And I can laugh and I can notice it. And then I literally just like hold that attachment and look at it very directly and realize I just simply need to not be engaged in this way, just unattached, just let go. And then like Leela's saying, I could care less if he wants to drag himself right across the side of the highway or whatever. I could care less, whatever he wants to do. I could care less. And that just sounds so bizarre. Like it's so against the hardwiring we've been patterned by. But that is a freedom to make better choices for myself. And then I'm not disturbing the love. Like this radiant field of love is with me the whole time. It's not only there, and it's not only there to protect him from himself or whatever, right? That disturbs the field and creates this exclusivity. So, and I think that many of us find that all the time. We want to make choices that are not ours to make or things that we can control, but we want to in homage to the love that we feel. And ironically, it actually chips away at the love. This field of infinite compassion gets disturbed when we make unhealthy choices, thinking that it's a loving choice. And that's a real like mind bender. You know, like it really flips the whole script in a way. You know, but that's what we're doing. Like three of us reporting from very clear reality here with very few filters, saying to you that flip is a filter of how we've been trained to love. And there is such a better, more skillful way to love that is available to all of us if we understand how to harness it. Okay, guys, this seems already like it's a lot to digest.
And we could keep going on.
But why don't we pause here today and we can pick this conversation up next week? Because there really is still so much more to say. But like, let's breathe. Let's digest.
Yes.
Let's reflect.
Like, shit, everything I believed was love is not love. Like, oh my God. I need a week to
let me
Look at
rethink
that.
how I've been talking to my children. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Or my partner, or why I broke up with my last boyfriend. Yeah.
Right.
We do want to tell you guys that fall classes start in September. The embodiment starts the third week. Registration is open now. We'll put that link in the show notes, but it closes in I think the second week of September, the beginning of the second week. I don't know. Check out the link. And of course, if you have taken embodiment before, then you're ready. Maybe you're ready for the course in fearlessness. Ooh, it's a big one though. It's a big
Yep.
one. But a brilliant one. Such a brilliant one. It starts mid-September. Okay, so more about loving with attachment or without attachment, red love, blue love. Next week, we'll meet you right here.
Oh, and please rate and review the podcast. So if you send us a copy of that review, we'll look at them all and pick the best 3. And those people will get a little gift from us. So yeah, please go ahead and rate and review. And yeah, we look forward to reading them. We always love hearing from you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, bye. Love you.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. We obviously love hearing what you think. Your feedback helps us make a better show for you to listen to. So feel free to comment, and you can do it at Facebook, which is the Humans Decoded podcast. And if you're not on social, you can always email any questions to us at outreach@kirantrace.com. And thanks for listening. We love you.